Welcome to episode 42 of Discovering Nagasaki from Local. My name is Chad. In my ongoing weekly vlogs, you can experience everyday life in this scenic and fascinating part of Japan. This week only Daniel Hazen and Denise Rollheiser were able to correctly answer both of last week's vlog questions. Thank you for answering my challenging questions. The first question from last week was, which did I add first to the nanban sauce in my cooking demo? The kelp or the togarashi pepper? The answer is the kelp. The second question from last week was, how many PET bottles of koso did you see at the end of my koso preparation demo? The answer is 12 PET bottles. 2 of these PET bottles were smaller than 500 mils. Unfortunately, I won't be able to upload any vlog next week or the week after that. This week I will have some surgery on my left eye, a vitrectomy, and I will be in hospital for at least a week. I will be back in 3 weeks' time on May the 23rd with my next vlog. I have retinopathy, and for the last 6 weeks I have only been able to see out of my right eye. Although the surgery is relatively safe, 3 needles have to be inserted into my left eye to drain the blood inside. During the past week, some of our vegetables and fruit have been maturing quickly. Here's what our figs, cabbage, broccoli, sky beans, blueberries, lemon, loquat, plums, and grapefruit look like now. In today's vlog, I will show you how to bake organic black rice buns. I will also give you a short tour of an interesting historic site in Nagasaki called the 26 Martyrs Museum. Let's get started. To make 33 organic black rice buns, I will use 770 grams of flour, 11 grams of salt, 35 grams of black rice powder, which we make by milling black rice such as this, 360 grams of water, and 75 grams of organic yeast. I will put all of the dry ingredients in this mixer over here on the left and use this metal flat beater to thoroughly mix the dry ingredients in this metal bowl. This is a planetary mixer and it only takes about a minute to do this at a brisk speed. Once the dry ingredients are mixed, I will take off the flat beater and replace it with this spiral dough hook. Oops. It normally takes about 7 minutes to knead the dough sufficiently. When the dough is ready, I will put the dough in this plastic container, covered with saran wrap, and let it sit at room temperature until it fills the container. Behind me there are some honey buns and country bread loaves cooling off on the counter. Eventually, I hope to use a bearing puller to replace the rotor axle in this 300 kilogram paperweight. Now that the dough for these black rice buns is ready for forming, I will take off the container lid and saran wrap. This is what the dough looks like inside. Now I have to weigh out 38-gram portions of this dough using a dough knife and a digital scale. That's close enough. Now I need to form these dough portions into smooth round buns. On closer inspection, the black rice powder in this dough is clearly visible. As I've shown before with other types of marupan buns like this, I have to make sure that the upper section of the bun is smooth and round, and then pinch off the edges on the lower side of the bun, just like this. When the dough is formed, I will place it bottom side down on this silicone sheeting. I'm multitasking today. Here I am in the process of making 20 cinnamon rolls like I showed you in episode 3. Behind me are some carrot buns cooling off on the counter. Now it's time to spray some water on the dough of these black rice buns and put them in the proofer for around 2 hours. With our slow-acting organic yeast bread, the dough requires 2 rising periods. Now the dough is ready for the proofer. It's a tight squeeze getting trays in and out of this proofer. That's the ticket. After 2 hours on the proofer, it's time to take out these dough portions. I need to spray them with some water and then place the tray in the oven at about 215 degrees Celsius for 18 minutes. Let's have a look at the hot, fresh buns. I'll definitely need this oven mitt to take the tray out. Here they are, hot, fresh, and slightly browned, organic black rice buns. These delicious and healthy buns only require 5 ingredients to make. I am now on Nishizaka Machi, not far from Nagasaki train station. As I pan to the right, you can see St. Philip's Catholic Church. Its spires resemble those of the Sagrada Familia Basilica in Barcelona. From this vantage point, you can see the Fukusaiji Canon statue that I showed you in episode 40. This is another view of St. Philip's Church, taken from the courtyard in front of the 26 Martyrs Monument. This monument was built in 1962 to honor the 26 people who were crucified here on February the 5th, 1597. This group of Catholics included 4 Spanish priests, 1 Mexican priest, 1 Portuguese priest, and 17 Japanese members of a Franciscan order. Most of these victims were priests and seminarians from Kyoto and Osaka. Toyotomi Hideyoshi, the national ruler of Japan at that time, ordered their arrest, imprisonment, and torture. After a month-long march through the snow to Nagasaki, these 26 people were lanced to death on crucifixes in front of a large crowd. The executions were intended to serve as a deterrent to the estimated 500,000 Christians living in Japan at that time. In Japanese, this sign reads, Nihon Nijuroku Seijin Kinenkan. In English, this means Japan 26 Martyrs Memorial Hall. The entrance to the 26 Martyrs Museum is behind the monument, next to the blue tarp on the right. I'm now inside the museum. On my left is a statue of St. Francis Xavier, a Jesuit missionary from Spain who first visited Japan in 1549. The map in this Zone 1 corner shows the route taken by the 26 martyrs from the Osaka region to Nagasaki City. There's also a scaled-down model of the monument outside. Zone 2 of this museum is devoted to the early history of evangelization in Japan. To the right of this blue sign is the original letter that Xavier sent to King John III of Portugal in 1546. And further on, there is a poster displaying Pope John Paul II's visit to Nagasaki in 1981. Zone 3 of this museum is devoted to the growth of early Christianity in Japan. Here's a 17th century map of Japan, and below it some 17th century Spanish artifacts. Zone 4 of this museum is devoted to the persecution of Christianity in Japan. Between 1597 and 1869, more than 250,000 Christians were executed throughout Japan. Here's an old blueprint for the Dejima Island port that I showed you back in episode 11. On the next red and white sign is a bar graph showing the number of Christian executions in Japan over time. On my right is the short sermon given by Father Paul Miki before his execution in Ishizaka. Above is a statue of this Franciscan martyr. To my right is some religious artwork, including many sketches. 17th century paintings, carvings, and frescoes. On my right in Zone 7 you can see a bronze model of the Christian Lord Takayama Ukon. He fled Japan in November of 1614 and died 40 days later in Manila. Nearby is a 17th century Nanban parasol. Behind this parasol is Zone 5, which is devoted to the hidden Christians of Japan. Here you can find prayer scrolls, prayer beads, devotional plaques, and small crucifixes that were hidden from the authorities. Less than 1.5% of Japanese people currently identify themselves as Christian. Next to Tokyo, Nagasaki Prefecture has the second highest number of Christians per capita in Japan. The remains of about 600 Christian martyrs are interred near this museum. I'll now take you upstairs to see some of the artifacts in the newest section of this museum. At the top of these stairs, you can see a large stained glass window on my left. And up ahead is the Hall of Glory in Zone 10. The inscription on the stone crucifix ahead reads, Kami wa ai nari, God is love. And now for this week's challenging questions. First, which bread ingredients need to be added just prior to using the kneading hook of our mixer? Second, how many adolescent boys are displayed on the 26 Martyrs Monument? Be the first to correctly answer both of these questions in the comments section below. I will announce the first 3 people who do so at the beginning of episode 43. You can find a complete list of the contents of my vlog episodes on the Facebook link listed below. And you can watch all of my vlog episodes on my online YouTube playlist. Today's B-roll involved baking, so in episode 43 my B-roll will involve farming. Stay tuned for more interesting vlogs from and about Nagasaki. See you in 3 weeks.